Hello everyone, welcome to my studio, another episode of Workshop This, and I'm Robin McClendon. I'm excited today to show you just ink pads on the gel plate. Now, you've probably seen this before, no doubt. It's not that it's an unusual technique, and a lot of my Workshop This is not about the most unusual thing, but it's just a quick snapshot of a technique that you don't have to spend a whole video looking at. And I find sometimes when I'm looking at a longer video, there's a lot of techniques sort of all kind of put in there, and it's kind of hard to stop and isolate. Okay, exactly what were the steps for that one thing that that person did? So my Workshop This is my attempt to be able just to isolate one or two processes so that when you need to refer to them, you can come back to this video and just see a step by step. And also just to kind of show you my spin, how I may use those techniques. So today we're going to work with our ink pads, and we're going to work with some little alcohol that I have in a spray bottle, some natural foliage, and a wood block stamp. I love my wood block stamps. And I just love the overall organic pattern that they make in your work. And so these are just great ways to make your own decorative papers, things that you can use in your own collaging. I'm big on making, making decorative papers that I can use back in my fine art. And that's what I love showing to my community. And it's always fun just to do something representational. I love organic matter. And so I picked a few little pieces off of the bush outside of my studio. So let's get started. I'm going to be using this calligraphy paper. It's called sketch paper, but it's calligraphy paper. It's handmade. I love this stuff. We have the links for this below. And I've cut it into just smaller pieces. I've taken a large sheet and cut it into 4 sections. You could do the whole thing, but it's just nice to kind of do it like this for showing the technique. But also I oftentimes will do small pieces. That way I can get more variety for, the collage work that I may be doing. This is super easy. We're going to do this in a 2-step process. Okay, so we're going to you can just put the ink directly onto the plate. This is just brilliant. It just works so beautifully. And so I'm using Tim Holtz Distressed in Crushed Olive. And you just kind of want to roll it out. Just get a nice thin coverage. And we can just put that right down. Just to get a good background color. And it's amazing how it doesn't look like it's a lot that's going on the plate. But when you go to pull it, it's very bright. So you can see how bright that is right from the start. So now what I want to do, just kind of doing something slightly representational. So let's do the blue at the top. Kind of like, the skyline. And this green moss at the bottom. One of my fave Tim Holtz colors. I love this green moss. And so what we're doing here is creating, let's just go ahead and smooth this out. And then let's get this top brayered out a bit. And now what we're going to do is I find that the ink is very, very, the stamp pad is very impressive. So I kind of do it like this. If you press these pieces down, what's interesting is that your fingerprints will make the mark. So we've done our background so that when we press this down, we'll get the image of the plant material, but we won't get our fingerprints. And so we have our background color so that the image of the plants won't be white. It'll be sort of the green, the crushed olive. Just one idea, one way of doing it. You could do this a million ways. My plant was fresh, but you could already have it, pressed so that everything will lay down flat. Okay, so that should do it. Let's see what we get. Yeah, oh, see, I love it. So we get this really nice organic shape, and mine are a little bit less, they're a little more blobby because the pieces were freshly dried. But what's nice about this is that you could go in and then sketch, put more lines in it. You could really take and fill this print out, and just starting with a base image to then guide your lines and to fill things out. And I just love it like this because I would go in and probably do some brush work with my Sumi ink, and then you could build this up and just use this as, rip it out and begin to use it as a piece in a collage. So that's one way, which is neat. The other thing is, let's go ahead and ink this up. I'm gonna leave that print down there because we may get a little something. I probably could have pulled a secondary print actually. So this is forest green. And let's go using this. I'll do it right in the middle. This stamp. Get a good impression. And I'm just going to spritz it a little bit with some alcohol, because what that'll do is it'll start making a stone pattern. Put that down. Let's see what we get. We may get a double pull here, which could be pretty cool. On this calligraphy paper, you also just get a really pretty print. The pad is not that expensive. It's under $20 for like 40 sheets, but you just get a better quality print using a paper that's really going to absorb those inks nicely. So it's always an experiment with mono printing, which means one print pull. Everything is a little different, even if you repeat the same pattern and shape. And that's what I love about this. You never know what you're going to get. Oh, this is gorgeous. So you can just see the subtlety of that print. It almost looks like a batik. And using that alcohol, you just got a gentle stoning that began to happen. You see, you have more of, it's not as smooth. See how this is smooth? I'll get you the texture, but this one started getting that stone pattern in it. That's because of our alcohol. So one more thing real quick here. Let's also do Stop My Love, which is kind of overlapping color on the plate. So just get a little bit of different colors down. We can just overlap. And a little bit of gathered twig. And we're just going to roll it out a bit. And then let's get a good amount of alcohol on here. See, it really is beating up. And then what I like to do is take myself with my piece of paper, just crumple it, because this is going to go for sort of a background texture effect. When you just kind of want to make papers that you can use to, in a real kind of decorative paper, like making your own papers. And what happens is you start picking up the dots that sort of build up on the plate from the this is yummy, from the alcohol. So you see how you start getting this dot pattern. So let's go back and put some gathered twig down, because that gave us a nice mixture. So now what we want to do is we don't have to roll it out, because I'm putting a lot on here that you see how it really just beads up. That's what we want. And then we can come back just kind of with sections and just start picking color up. And you can do this technique with any color palette, of course. It's just neat. You just get this really cool effect. And you could just do this as much as you want until you get the color combination and palette that you'd like. Let me see if I can get a little bit of the Stazon in the red. Well, I don't know how much is on my ink pad, but we're going to see. A little bit more alcohol ink. I just like to put it in a small spray bottle. It's a little bit, not much. Time for a new red, new claret. So yeah, you could just do this, and then the final pull, let's just do this, is roll it out. If I want to get an overall color, like this light color would be nice. Put that down. Let's roll it out a bit. Get a little spray again. And we can lay the whole thing down if we want to get rid of the white. Just lay it all down and let it sort of color the whole page. And then you'll have that texture. Yep. So yummy. Get this really neat piece. And I'll work these pieces quite a bit. But here we use the same palette. And we've got 3 distinctive, quite different looks here, but they all could work together. You could see how you could put these all together in a collage of some sort. If this were ripped out, maybe this became the background piece. Some of this could be smaller pieces that could collage around with it, but you just get these really neat techniques. So pull out your stamp pads. Maybe you haven't been using them for a while. Get a little bit of alcohol. This is just isopropyl alcohol that you get from the dollar stores. It's the type of alcohol that you use on your body for cuts, or to clean things. Because I know in some countries it's not called isopropyl alcohol. So just I'm explaining what this is. It's not an industrial strength. It's just something that you would have in your home and can use, for medicinal purposes. And get your plate, find all kind of neat stamps and foliage and stuff, and just have at it. So thanks again for joining me for another workshop. This working with stamp pads on the gel plate. Until next week, please have fun in your studios. Happy creating. Remember to comment, ask questions. Any technique that you want me to do, please put it below the video, because we look at all of the comments. We try to answer them all. And so any techniques that you want are important to me to know so that I can plan future videos. All right, take care. Love you guys. Bye-bye.